No matter what genre you're dealing with, there is one inevitable hurdle you're going to have to overcome: getting good low end. If your low end isn't solid, it doesn't matter what else is going on in the mix of the song. It isn't gonna sound right or translate across systems properly. And one of the biggest keys to perfecting a good low end is getting your low mids under control. By the end of this video, you'll understand what goes into creating a bass tone by finding the point at which to remove the mid lows. Identifying the crossover frequency is key. So what's happening, fam? Miami here with JST, and that has a different meaning today. Sometimes mids just sound terrible. There are a few ways to attack this problem: dynamic EQ, multiband compression, but simplest of all when it comes to bass, eliminating them in a smart way. And what a lot of people don't realize is that a rock solid bass tone can be more important than having an amazing rhythm guitar tone. When you distort a bass, it makes up quite a bit of the guitar tone, but it doesn't work in reverse. So let's get into step one: identifying the muddy low mids. So to identify the muddy low mids, we're going to pull up a bass track. You can do this with an amped bass or a DI track. I'll be doing this with a DI since I'm sure a bunch of you watching will be using amp sims, but the same concepts basically apply here. Get it? Basically? Hope you gauged how much of a Dad Dario joke that was. All right, I'm done. Let's go. Duplicate your bass track. We're gonna start by duplicating the bass tracks so that we can process them differently. One of these tracks is going to be the grit track and the other will be the sub info. So to easily process, we're going to click the sub and make it solo. On that subject, I hope you can easily process and click the sub. I'm sure you can do it solo. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and give this video a like if you're enjoying the content. And yes, my transition game is still crazy. Now let's tap into this low end track. So the first thing that we're going to do with this DI is we're going to move Fab Filter to the point that it cuts off everything that isn't the sub and the fundamental note going on in the low end. So take a listen. So right there, I'm still hearing the fundamental note as well as the sub. Oh, let me also add that I am running this into L1. So that's pushing it, giving it the nice crunch we need. But if I was doing this another way, I like to do this with Bass Forge Hellraiser. I just figured you guys, if you didn't have it, you wouldn't understand. But with this, I will solo just the low end band. And this gives it the feel more that it was going through an amplifier. And my crossover here is set at 94 Hertz. So that literally is doing what Fab Filter kind of told me. And now I can execute. So just that quickly, 94 Hertz and under, and then smash it with a limiter. On to the next thing. That is all it takes to get the sub information under control. This guarantees that the fundamental note of the track will constantly be playing and felt. But what about the actual transient information and the sound we all associate with bass? That's going to be our grit track. Now, in rock and metal music, this plays a pivotal role in blending the guitar and bass together. This is what I was talking about when I was saying that the bass guitar makes up what some people confuse with the guitar tone. This just happens because it's in the same mid-range area and is also distorted. So with the grit track, the first thing that we're going to do is throw an amp on it using ToneForge Jason Richardson here. And let's listen to how that sounds. Now, do you hear how nasty that low end sounds being distorted that way? So we're going to take Fab Filter once again, and we're going to sweep around until we feel like we've gotten rid of all those nasty distorted subs and low mids, right? Let's take a quick listen to that with the low end now. So not a final or anything, but definitely a lot closer. Let's listen to how that sounded one more time when it was just a grit track without cutting this off.
Absolutely huge difference here.
On to our next, understanding the problem. So now that we've gotten the concept of it down, we have to understand why we do it and then apply that to a song, right? Why do we do this instead of just processing a single track? It's actually really simple. If you distort the entire bass, you're going to lose note definition in the sub-frequencies. Also, using distortion on your low end almost always ruins your mix, unless you're going for that specific effect that they do in hip-hop pretty often. With the technique that we're doing, we never have to worry about the distortion crossing over while making sure that we have a rock-solid low end in our song and the bass notes that you can audibly hear in the mid-range. So now we have to apply this knowledge into step 4, finding the crossover in the song. So now that we've loosely done a crossover and have an understanding of the problem, we have to apply the concept to a song. It can be difficult to pin down because if you push it too far, it can feel like there's a big hole in the song now. And if you don't do it enough, it feels like you have the initial problem that you had before with a buildup of the low mids. I'm going to be testing this out in the Jason Richardson style song I recently mixed and made a template for that you can download below. Enough talking about it, let's get into it.
All right, so to do this the proper way, we're going to turn the drums on as we listen to this. We're going to move the grit track to around the spot where the crossover for the low end was. We're going to slowly keep pulling that until it feels like it's right. Okay, so let's try that. Now we have to bring in some guitars to make sure that, we're not off base here. And if you notice right around there, it feels like it's in the right pocket. If I move this over to around 650, you're losing a lot. And that's about where I would put this in the song. And there you have it. That's the way of finding the crossover frequency.
So now that we've gone through it all, let's repeat the steps. Identifying the muddy low mids, duplicating your bass track, understanding the problem, finding the crossover in the song. By following these steps, you'll definitely be much closer to getting the perfect bass tone and low end, which will in turn give you a better perceived guitar tone as well. It took me a really long time to get this under my belt, but once you understand the concept, it becomes really apparent how much of a difference it makes taking these steps. Do you feel like this will help you understand the bass crossover? Is there anything you'd like me to further explain? Leave it in the comments below and I will chat with the JST fam like I always do. If you're an engineer on the come up, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, you only have to do it one time, and tap that bell for notifications so when a video drops, you know the location. Till next time, I am out of here. Mic drop. Except as engineers we know, I wouldn't really drop this thing because that get really expensive, even if it is a piece of shirt. Catch you guys later.